G'day and welcome to the GameFace Footy Show. I'm Russell Robertson here live at GameFace HQ in Studio 1, and I can't wait to rip into this one because it is SFNL Div 2. Some fantastic football played over the weekend, but first let me introduce this panel. I'll start with you, Will Hunter. How are you, mate?
Very well, mate. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. John Donoghue over there.
Good to be back, Robbo. Good to see you again.
You're back, mate. You had a dirty weekend away with a love. How'd it go?
I beat her in the go-karting, so she wasn't happy. down at the island, and I beat her in the mini-golf as well. So she needs to lift her game, her sporting game.
You're supposed to let her win, mate.
I'm too competitive.
I tried that once. It didn't sit well with me.
Yes.
I'm pretty sore loser.
No,
She's pretty calm, so she didn't care.
Good on you, boys. Good on you, boys. Now, Will, we've got a wonderful apparel partner here at GameFace, don't we? We get
Exactly
decked
right.
out with these nice media polos, but you got something there.
Yeah, exactly. New thing they brought out, the ugly sweaters. They're all the rage, aren't
It's Christmas time already, is it?
Looks
it comes
it.
around very quickly. But how good are these? They've got these going for Glen Ira Griffins in the BAFTA, and they're offering them to all clubs around the state as well. They look absolutely mint. We were wearing them in one of our other shows.
We were.
But,
It was hot.
Bit warm.
They are bloody warm. So perfect for winter. So
Yes.
how great do these look, guys? So make sure you get in touch with Swibs Locker, official apparel partner of GameFace.
Yes, they are. And
Also,
if
yeah.
you'd like to order those, all you got to do is jump online, Swift's Locker. You can find their website pretty easy, and you can. All you got to do is just create your own design around that. So it's really easy to do. I've done it before. Have I gone through the top stories yet? I'm not sure.
No, you haven't. Let's go through them now, Robert.
Can't wait to get into this. I'm a bit nervous actually because my boys, the dominant Doves, they're still undefeated. Bears on the board at last, boys. Keezy Pip Hampton in a thriller. We didn't pick that, but I want to go to an injury update thanks to Body First Health Group. Have you got anything for me, Will?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, the Caulfield captain Adam Ballard went down pretty early with an ankle injury. Yet to hear an update on how that's going, but didn't see out the game. Bit of a loss to the Caulfield side, so hopefully he can get back out there. And a ripping fella as well. So
He is.
Ballard.
He was good against Murrumbina in a loss the week before as well.
Now, we had a bit of a chat off camera before you and I, John Donoghue, and you're a bit worried about East Brighton and where they're at the moment because they've been beaten by Caulfield.
Yeah, I kept a close eye on them. I've got a few friends that play there. I live down that way, and I played junior footy at the club, and I kept a close eye on them, and I thought this was a game that they certainly should have won. I was actually down. I had to pick up something from one of the assistant coaches on Thursday night, and I said, keep your eye on number 14, Jake Buggy. You stop him, and you can stop Jenkins down forward. It'll go a long way to winning the game. What did they do? They let Jake Buggy roll in for 4 goals and had plenty of disposals. He was best on ground
In his 100th game.
In his 100th game. So, the key to success, I said to them, stop Buggy, but they couldn't get it done. And panic stations, I think, at the moment for East Brighton. I mean, Nathan Foster's their only sort of half-decent forward at the moment. Jamison just keeps on going in his 859th game or something like that. He's been playing forever. So, worrying signs. But a good win for Caulfield. First win on the board, and they kicked straight.
Yeah, they did. And good kicking's good footy. And, we saw East Brighton. They didn't take their chances when they came, and 6-13, not that great. They were solid early, couldn't convert, but full credit to Caulfield. I mean, when Adam Ballard, a player of his quality, goes down early doors, always tough to fill that hole, but Caulfield managed to do so. Lockie Dixon jumped into the ruck, did a fantastic game, a fantastic job in the ruck, I should say. Stewie Patterson had a big body in the midfield, did pretty well, and Jamison, as you mentioned, was one of their very, very few contributors, but the day belonged to Jake Buggy.
Yeah.
BOG by the length of the straight in his 100th game, so well done to you, Jakey, and hopefully another solid 100 still to come from you.
Playing coach Peter Larson keeps putting himself in the best. He probably is in their best every week. But tough times to be playing at East Brighton and coaching East Brighton at the moment.
If you were playing coach of any side, wouldn't you put yourself in the best?
Absolutely.
You're the first bloke you picked too.
Good stuff. Well done to the Bears. Let's move on to the next game. We on the panel here at GameFace. You'd watch us every week if you had the GameFace app. You can get that done. Just jump on the Google App Store and the iTunes Store. You can download the GameFace app and you can keep
Best
up
app
to
on the market at the moment.
Absolutely, you can watch all the
Free
games across all these leagues that we're covering at the moment. And of course, we're doing SFNL Div 2. Hampton versus Keysborough. We've been talking about Keysborough this year as probably one of the contenders.
Yes.
Probably 3 or 4 teams that you could throw a blanket over.
Yep.
But they've been chased down by Hampton, not obviously beaten, but Keysborough found it tough against Hampton on the weekend.
Bit of a surprise in the margin in this one. I thought, look, impressed by Hampton's performance. Crackers Devereaux, he keeps kicking bags of goals. I think he kicked 3 again this week, so he's right up there and he's performing really well. But they've done really well to try and match it with one of the better teams in the comp. Again, bad kicking for Keysborough, 9-14 and 8-7 for Hampton. So pretty positive signs there for the Hammers.
Yeah, they did it the hard way, Keysy. I mean, they kicked 8 points in a row, and they were goalless between the second and third quarters. Full credit to Hampton, though. They played some tremendous footy in those second and third quarters. I mean, their ability to run and spread, and they defended really well as well, which made it really difficult. Nichols did a pretty good job on big Chrissy Bryan there. I mean, he kicked 1 goal early, but didn't do a great deal. Normally, you'd expect him to sort of kick a big bag, but no, they did pretty well, the Hammers. And
they'd be pretty pumped about being in front at 3/4 time or just before 3/4 time. You take a lot out of that as a coach and talk about it during the week. Boys, we did fantastic here against a really solid side.
Absolutely. I mean, they set high expectations for themselves, Hampton, and they'd be pretty pleased with that effort. Conversely, Keysborough, it's the second time this year they found themselves down at 3/4 time and found a way to really power home and get the win. So they take some positives out of that, and of course that last quarter they were a lot more efficient and proactive with their ball use, which always helps kicking a winning score.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to the other results, Sky, pretty dismal there. 139 defeating Springvale, also pretty dismal by their lofty standards, 5-8-38. Heatherton 5-5-35 defeated by Murrumbina, 13-11-89. And Doveton just roll on and get it done against Chelsea Heights, 28-14, 134-8, 452. Any thoughts on any of that? Let's have a talk about Sky, because they're we've talked about them a couple of weeks now. They're not doing so well.
No, they're not. I mean, we sort of didn't expect them to be premiership contenders, but 1 goal 3 is a pretty ordinary. A pretty ordinary return on your home deck, but I guess Saturday wasn't really great conditions for footy, was it, Donis?
Well, I mean, Springy have only kicked 5 goals there, so they haven't pumped them. I mean, we sat here last week and said that it was going to be a pretty comprehensive win, but they've only put 38 points on the board themselves. So I don't know if it was the Sky defence or more the conditions that were stopping them from kicking goals. But disappointing for Sky, and it might be a tough year for them.
Yeah.
Might be them and East Brighton duelling it out for that bottom spot, unfortunately.
Possibly, and either way, it's not a game you'd be rushing home to watch a replay of. It's a pretty ordinary game of footy.
Well, I'll talk a little bit more about Sky in a second, but let's talk about the Doves for a second. My boys, the word coming out was the first half wasn't that great by Doveton. They're still able to kick 20 goals, 14-134. I mean, that's a drubbing in anyone's language. They're able to score, Doveton, aren't they? They're just so potent out of the middle and into that forward line.
Well, it's very clear to me that they don't need one R. Robertson anymore.
And I'm happy with that.
Peter Wright kicking 7. He's Robbo. You start on the bench next week or through the twos or something.
Don't for a second think I'm disappointed with that at all. I'd be very happy to have a thermos on the bench,
especially when it's raining.
Yes,
4 degrees.
Because it wasn't great conditions.
You're right.
That's when you need that ugly that we had before.
Get your long sleeve out, Robbo.
Yes.
Good at the longies. I know you're an advocate. I'm a massive fan.
Now,
20 goals you've kicked your boys, Robbo.
Yes.
So you're putting. I think you're averaging sort of 15, 16 goals a game this year. So that's going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's done without a couple of key players, the centre half forward and your centreman, obviously the captain.
And Robbo.
And one Russell Robertson. We'll move on from that, boys, because something that a little bit unsavoury came across your desk. Will, talk us through this one.
I mean, we did have a bit of a laugh at a bit of a spray that we saw from our great mate Rocket the other week. A few more F-bombs than...
one of the great sprays.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but a little bit of vision come across our desk this week from down Skyway, Sky Keysy game. Let's take a look at the vision now.
Well, boys, I mean, we try to show everyone what we get, and there you go. We'll get some comments from you. Hard to say, because we don't actually know who that guy was that grabbed the player. It might have been a friend. Yep. Unsure.
Doesn't look good.
No, I mean...
Shouldn't be touching players if you're not in you don't condone it at all.
No.
But at least if it's a coach, maybe you can think it's him trying to get the best out. Robbo spoke about it in the past. It's happened to him. So if it's a coach... even still, it's probably not on. But for a spectator, you'd hope. Yeah.
Not sure if it was a spectator, but we did see a couple of players and the coach, Luke Martin, try and get involved there and try to take the heat out of the situation. But you're right, not a good look. No. I mean, we had a bit of a laugh at that vision of Rocket the other week, and obviously the audio that went viral the other week as well. But grabbing players, I think you're crossing the line there. Not a good look. Just
got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're watching. Just be careful what you do at the football. Everyone's got a phone. Everyone's filming this stuff at the moment, and you've just got to behave in a certain kind of way. Don't know the story out there at Sky and what's going on, and maybe they can let us know if they want to, if they object to what we're saying right here. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll move on as fast as we can. But I will say, if you're a coach and you see someone doing that to one of your players, don't know if I'd like it, because I'm trying to manage all these guys and I want the best out of them. Anyway, they might have had that already set up. Let's move on to the ladder after round 4. Doveton Eagles sitting just pretty on top with 5 wins, as we've said already in the show so far, and Sky on the bottom. Boys, anything you want to talk about there?
Doveton, clear, game clear. So two pretty good sides on top. Doveton and Keysborough and Springvale sitting in third. So that might be your. I think that top 3 won't change too much. Might just jostle for positions with the 2 and 3, but can't see Doveton being taken off the top of the ladder.
No, to be fair though, they have got a game in hand. So the fixture will be a little bit skewed until I think about round 15 when that Good Friday game sort of rolls round. So Keysy also undefeated. They're going to be up there. Good to see the Bears finally broke their duck. But there's 4 sides on 1 win. So
I can't wait to see Keysborough take on Springvale Districts. I know Doveton up there, and we can see Murrumbina, but that's going to be a cracker. Keysborough, Springy Districts. Obviously, Springy have lost a game because they've played Doveton, but Keysy unbeaten as well. That might just sort something out for us.
I think they might even be playing this round as well.
Really? So. Right. Well, that might be the match of the round. But let's move on, boys. There's enough said about that. Division 2 Team of the Week. You boys have poured over it, and you've come up with this.
Yeah, from the full-back line, John Layla from Sky. So they do get a bit of joy. They get one or 2 players in the Team of the Week. Jimmy Anwile from Keysborough and Craig Keenan from Springy Districts.
Yep, and on the half-back line, Anthony Brennan, he's been featured in this side a couple of times, as has his teammate in Ben Stacey, centre half-back, and Callum White had a pretty good game for Hampton on the weekend.
Across the centre line, Chris Tozen from Heatherton, Jesse Odell from Chelsea Heights, and Joel McConville, another one from Sky.
Yeah, pretty good games on the weekend. Jake Buggy, 4 goals, BOG, but linked to the straight, as I said. Slides in onto the flank. Matt Carnelli from Keysborough played his round at the game the other week as well. Centre forward, and Eddie Espinosa from Murrumbina. He's a player on the other flank.
Freddie Jenkins coming off a small bag, 4, I think he kicked on the weekend. Yep. So he slots in the forward pocket. The best forward in the competition, Pever Wright. So takes out R. Robertson from full forward. So he kicked 7 on the weekend. And Mark Jamison from East Brighton, who we said keeps on going at 35. He's played almost 400 games. So.
Mate, he'll still be playing at 65 years old. And the bloke's an absolute freak. Yeah. Bryce Sutton and the ruck. We may as well just leave his name there for the rest of the year. The bloke is making every poster winner at the moment. Mark Devroe, another great game on the weekend. He's one of the out-and-out stars of this Hampton side. And Brad Gilder from Chelsea Heights, one of the key recruits. Premiership player at St Paul's last year, making an impact this week.
Tom Cooper on the start on the interchange bench. Tom Cooper from Springy District. Cam Carmody from Doveton. Jake Semmel, brother of Ryan at Bena, back in the side this week. And Stuart Patterson from Caulfield round out the 22.
Good on you, boys. Good to see Cheesy Carmody in there. He had a fantastic game on the weekend. Voted the coach's best player and the player's best player. So good on you, Cheesy. Just wanted to give you a mention. He's a fantastic bloke. And actually playing out of position a lot, because Cheesy's not necessarily a ruckman. I think he grew up being a backman, and he's just taken on the ruck role for Doveton. Not really blessed with a lot of height down at Doveton in terms of ruckman. And Cheesy's been filling that void very, very well over the last couple of years now. Let's move on to the round 5 fixtures and tips from the panel, brought to you by Melsafe. And this is the Beyond Blue round, Will. This is a fantastic initiative by the SFNL. Yep. Pretty happy about this because it is an issue.
It is.
Tell us about what Beyond Blue is all about.
Well, of course, it's okay to not feel okay. So Beyond Blue do some wonderful work for people with suffering, from mental illness, depression, anxiety, all those sort of things. So they're a great service that you can use if you need a little bit of support and advice and guidance and all that sort of stuff. So great that the Southern Footy and Netball League have jumped on board, and they've done this particularly well over the last couple of years as well. Just a wonderful initiative.
Good on you, mate. Springvale Districts take on Hampton. I'll get your tips, please.
I like Springy Districts in this one, but I don't think Hampton will. I don't think Hampton will disgrace themselves. I think it'll be a pretty close contest, as we've seen. They ran Keysy pretty close, so they could do the same here for against Springvale.
I know our man coach is a big fan of grounds, and I've just woken him up. He's just there having a snooze in the back of the room.
Is that time?
Yeah, about the time. Past his
Get that
bedtime.
man a Coke.
Past his bedtime. No, this is two contrasting grounds here. I mean, Springy District's massive venue out there at Newcomen Road, and Hampton probably used to supplying the smaller expanses of the toolbox.
Street,
yeah, the toolbox down there. Springy will probably get the job done there. I think the bigger ground will certainly suit their style of play.
Good on you, boys. Chelsea Heights will host East Brighton. Bit more pain for East Brighton, you reckon?
I'm going to tip them in this week. I think they are probably hurting a bit.
They'll bounce back.
Yeah, and I think they'll bounce back. I mean, Chelsea Heights haven't been awful this year, but if East Brighton want to get off the bottom three on the ladder, it's time to start moving. Even though it's only round 5, but they got to get a few wins.
Interesting game, this one. I think Chelsea Heights might be too strong at home, but as you say, Donners, they'll come out firing and should make a contest of it.
Let's look at Caulfield and Heatherton. Who have you got?
Caulfield 2 in a row for mine.
Yeah, interesting game as well. I'm back in Caulfield as well. Hopefully, the big man Ballard comes back in and will certainly have an impact if he does. Yeah, Caulfield, I think, at home.
Yep.
The Beaner will host Sky. More pain for Sky.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I think Beaner, they're getting a move on. 2-2 at the moment. They got their big names back. I think Jay Bruno's the only one now that needs to come back in. He's a couple of weeks away with a knee. So I think Beaner are motoring at the moment, and they'll win this pretty comfortably.
I think Lukey James comes back in this week. So, they'll win this very, very easily, I think.
Guys back. It is a journey. It's a big marathon, a season, isn't it? So you just play it every week. Take it a week at a time. The old footy
cliches.
Well done, boys. That's been a fantastic show. Thank you, Johnny Donoghue, for jumping in and looking after us again. In the absence of our Tomo, he's been a bit slack, hasn't he?
MIA the last couple of weeks.
It's 3 strikes me now.
I think so.
This is next week. Am I permanent now?
You know?
He's on notice. He's on notice. To be honest, I've forgotten what he looks like. So. No, he's a good man, Tomo, and doing some great work, so hopefully we can get him back next week.
And thank you so much, John, for joining us. And Will, as always, thank you for your efforts today. We'll see you again next week on the GameFace Footy Show for SFNL Division 2. Ciao.